Well, hello, race fans, and welcome to this Wreckfest edition of In the Pits with Big Josh Hinkle. That's right, people. Shout out to my good friend Bobby Lupo for that other great graphic. Yes, it says Lazy Lane rules. Damn right, Jeff Lane rules. Let's get started on this Wreckfest. That was the Alabama 500 yesterday at Talladega Super Speedway, which was won by Brad Keselowski. I mean, it was a wreck fest, left and right people. I mean, people were wrecking, people up in the air yesterday. I mean, Jamie McMurray was up in the air, wrecked in front of Jeffrey Earnhardt. I mean, it was a crash fest. It was a war of attrition. And let's get to the results here of the wreck fest of Talladega. Brad Keselowski wins the wreck fest after he passes Ryan Newman last lap pass in the trial to win the whole thing, win the Alabama 500. Second place was Ryan Newman. Third place, a local East Tennessean, originally from Knoxville, Tennessee, Trevor Bain. I met Trevor Bain several times at Food City Family Race Night from like 2006 to 2011 before he made it big in NASCAR, and he finishes third for Roush Fenway. Great job to Trevor Bain. That's a name you don't hear much often in NASCAR after he won Daytona 500 2011. Fourth place, Joey Logano. Fifth place, a wrecked Eric Almirola, which he, in the 43, wrecks at the start-finish line, and the damn commentators don't even see that. I mean, Rick Allen, Steve Letard, and Jeff Burton, you couldn't even see that Eric Almirola wrecked, and you couldn't even interview him or Trevor Bain. Good God, no love for those guys. Sixth place was Denny Hamlin. Seventh place after his last race on Talladega, and the mayor declared a Dale Jr. Day. Dale Earnhardt Jr. finishes seventh. Not a bad run. Just he could have been more aggressive, but the field was just too short. About 14, 15 cars left, and he couldn't do much of anything. Eighth place, Casey Kane. Ninth place, after he started 39th, and this is a 19-year-old kid that had a lot of problems this year trying to get in the cup, had problems with BK Racing, controversy, and all that. And he's back in the 83 car. His name is Gray Galding. Gray Galding finishes in ninth place for a small team like BK Racing, and 10th place in a wrecked car named David Reagan. And now for this segment on In the Pits, real quick, and after I get to the points here. Martin Truex and Brad Keselowski are in the field of 8 going for the championship after Kansas, but the rest of these drivers are not safe after the cut race next Sunday at Kansas. Kyle Larson, Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Jimmy Johnson. Those are the 8 that are above the cut line, but 9 through 12, Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth, Ricky Stenhouse, and Jamie McMurray, they are not safe. They could be the ones cut from the championship next week at Kansas. This idea came about from my good friend Root TV. And I'm going ahead, I'm not going to say douchebag, but I'm going to be clean. It's family friendly, not like Big Josh TV where I talk real. This is going to be the D-bag driver of the race. And this is the douchebag driver that caused the big wreck at Talladega. His name is Daniel Suarez, the rookie who took over from Carl Edwards this year after Carl Edwards unexpectedly retired, which it was a douchebag move from Carl that he retired and Daniel fills in. And, Daniel was trying to put a move on Chase Elliott, and he came down right front of Chase in the wreck, and they wrecked about 7 cars, 8 cars, caused another big one at Talladega. So Daniel Suarez, you get the douchebag driver of the race award from In the Pits with Big Josh Hinkle. You douchebag. And now let's get back to In the Pits here. Uh, Stupid Google Hangouts. I hate typing. I'm doing this. Yes, people lazy. Jeff Lane rules. There we go. Well, in my opinion, after the Alabama 500, so many wrecks. First wreck, Jamie McMurray trying to come into the pits. No pun intended. Comes in the pits, but didn't have any room. He wrecks after it goes right in front of Jeffrey Earnhardt up in the air. Car up in the air was like, okay. And then Jimmy Johnson is trying to come down the pits. Ty Dillon comes up, wrecks him. He's got a lot of damage to his car, but Jimmy Johnson has a wreck. And then the big one at lap 173 collected 17 cars in the field. That literally led to like the 15-car shootout at the end. That was just a war of attrition yesterday at Talladega Superspeedway, in my opinion. I mean, wrecks, and it was a wild card race in the playoffs to where I can see why NASCAR puts this race every year in the playoffs for the championship so that it's a wild card. Give the fans their money's worth, and which they did. You know, I love Brad Keselowski's paint scheme, saying "Cheers to Dale Jr." Looks like the old number 88 Navy paint scheme that he drove for Junior in the Xfinity Series back in 2008, and it was great tribute to him. And also Dale Jr. Day in Alabama. Alabama fans had a great time Dale Jr. Day, but it was a great race. And my hats off to all those underdog teams like Richard Petty Motorsports and Smithfield. Leaving Smithfield at the end of the year, the 43 team will not have Smithfield Foods on their car, and they're going to Stewart-Haas Racing in 2018. And the controversy between Richard Petty and the Smithfield Foods is that Richard Petty is an old school NASCAR driver where the old school handshake will literally be like a contract signing, a verbal agreement in wrestling terminology. But Smithfield Foods talk about the underperformance of the 43 team. And they went back and forth, and finally they decided they're going to leave at the end of 2017. Which I don't blame Smithfield Foods on one side because they spent over millions of dollars in the last 7 years on the 43 and Eric Almirola, but they couldn't do much of anything this year. But a top 5, that's not bad. But hopefully they get their stuff together and 2018 be a better year. But the other news is, let me see if I can pull this up without Google Hangouts freezing here. Let me see if I can pull this picture up here. Don't freeze, you stupid PC piece of crap. There we go. And naturally. Damn it. There we go. Again. Botch. Well, I'm going to end this in the Pits episode 8 with this picture right here that I got off my TV. Yes, it was an Ask Danica Patrick segment after she wrecked, finished 30-something, I think. And it was the first question asked on their show, NASCAR America, and it says Big Josh Hinkle. That's right. Krista Voda says Big Josh, damn right. Big Josh TV, damn right. I'm going to end it like that. Let's see if I can take the picture off here real quick. Get you guys to look at the question I asked. There we go. Computer cooperating, finally. Well, this has been episode 8 of In the Pits. I will be covering the cut race at Kansas Speedway next week. I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with Kansas Speedway because they blocked me on Facebook for no reason. But I will be covering the Kansas playoff cut race next week. And then I'll cover the last 2 races in November for Phoenix and Homestead. And then in December and January, if there's any news stories, I will try to provide them on In the Pits on the off-season editions. And then February, Daytona Speed Weeks, I will cover a couple races at Speed Weeks, including Daytona 500. But this has been episode 8, the Alabama 500 review. I am Big Josh Hinkle, and I'll catch y'all at the races, everybody. Just like Brad Keselowski's number 2 car. Deuces.